The George Lucas Museum's journey to find a home was anything but straightforward. The creator of Star Wars wanted a place where storytelling through art could come alive. You see, over the years, he's collected more than 10,000 pieces of what he calls fantastical art, and he wanted to house them in a museum that would showcase the art of narrative and inspire future generations. But figuring out where to build that museum was not easy. First, he looked in Chicago. The idea was to set up the museum on a prime spot near Soldier Field, right by the lake. It seemed like a great fit. Lucas was excited and the mayor was supportive, but soon there was a big problem. Some locals and preservationists argued that the museum would do more for Lucas's legacy than for the public. They worried it would disrupt the area, and lawsuits followed. Despite the initial enthusiasm, the project lost momentum, and eventually it was clear that Chicago was not going to work out. Lucas then turned to his hometown of San Francisco. He hoped to build a museum at Crissy Field with beautiful views of the Golden Gate Bridge. It felt like the perfect setting, almost bringing the museum back to its roots. But once again, things didn't go smoothly. The Presidio Trust, which managed the land, couldn't reach an agreement with Lucas on the specifics, and some community members had concerns about how the museum would impact the area's iconic views. After years of negotiation, San Fran also passed on the opportunity. Finally, this is where Los Angeles comes into the picture. The city offered Lucas a spot in Exposition Park right next to USC, where he had studied film. LA embraced the project without hesitation, seeing it as a great fit for the city known for its love of stories and creativity, and the museum found its home. Now, in Exposition Park, you can see the museum taking shape. It's a massive $1 billion project that's set to change the way people experience art and storytelling. Designed by mad architects and led by George Lucas, this building looks like it belongs in a sci-fi movie. It's sculptural, curvy, and unlike anything around it, rising from the ground as if it's defying gravity. But it's not just about the building. The whole area around it's getting a major facelift too. Before the museum, it was just a bunch of parking lots, but now the area is being transformed into a green, walkable space with over 200 new trees planted, focusing on native and drought-tolerant species. Landscape architect Mia Lehrer has made sure this new park-like setting feels like a refreshing oasis, especially in a city all about cars. The museum itself seems to float above the ground, with its unique design barely touching down at just a few points. A massive archway stretches 185 feet across the public plaza, creating a new entrance to Exposition Park that leads to both the north and south lobbies of the museum. A striking feature is the elliptical oculus that hovers 4 stories up, offering a view from the plaza straight up to the sky. This oculus isn't just for show. It's set to be a key meeting spot for visitors, connecting all the gallery spaces inside the museum. And then there's the way it's built. Given LA's reputation for earthquakes, the museum's design includes an innovative system that allows it to move slightly during tremors. Sandra Jackson Dumont, the museum's director and CEO, describes it as being built like a giant roller skate, with space on each side to shift gently in an earthquake. The building's exterior is covered in over 1,500 unique panels of fiberglass reinforced polymer, and this curvy design continues inside. The 4th floor gallery is a perfect example, where the walls mirror the building's outside curves, creating a fluid and cohesive experience. Even in the event space, the exposed rib-like ceiling keeps up the theme of defying right angles, making the whole structure feel like it's floating above a park. A nod to Yan Song's vision of the museum as a cloud or a tree canopy. Mia Lehrer, the landscape architect behind the Lucas Museum, described her design approach as a hero's journey. Meanwhile, architect Ma Yang-song likened the building to a cloud, and from above it might look like some kind of futuristic bowling pin nestled in 11 acres of greenery. For visitors on the ground, though, it's set to be an awe-inspiring piece of architecture that feels larger than life. As Sandra Jackson Dumont, the museum's director and CEO, put it, "This is not a project. This is not an initiative. This is a 200-year-plus proposition." The Lucas Museum is unique in its focus on storytelling through images, showcasing everything from paintings and sculptures to murals, photography, comic art, and illustrations. Lucas's personal collection, which includes works by Norman Rockwell, Alberto Vargas, and R. Crumb, is valued at over $600 million. Jackson Dumont, who spent 16 years at the Seattle Arts Museum and taught at NYU, describes it as a visual museum, noting that while LA has a great film museum, the Academy Museum, this space is going to explore the broader impact of visual storytelling. She's enthusiastic about her new role and the opportunity to connect with the South LA community through concerts, events, and training programs for architects, art historians, and horticulturalists. Walking through the empty galleries, it's easy to see the potential. Even now, with construction materials, studs, and the electrical conduits scattered throughout, the space hints at the grandeur to come. The entryway's soaring ceilings bring to mind the swooping concrete shells of architect Felix Candela. And the other spaces throughout the museum continue this dramatic, fluid style. Beyond the main lobbies, the lower floors offer a range of public spaces that cater to different interests. There are 2 state-of-the-art theaters, each seating 299 people, perfect for screenings and events. A horseshoe-shaped library and learning area with large windows provide a peaceful spot to look out over the park. And there are 10 studios and classrooms where visitors can dive into hands-on creative activities. You'll also find a museum shop, a cafe, and a spacious 10,000-square-foot gallery that rounds out the offerings on the lower floors. To get around, there are 5 public elevators on the north side of the building. 3 of them are cylindrical and made entirely of glass, giving visitors panoramic views as they move from the north lobby up to the 4th floor galleries, which span 82,000 feet. On the 5th floor, nearly 8,000 feet of gallery space sits under a unique ribbed ceiling. This level also features a restaurant with both indoor and outdoor seating, a large event space, and an outdoor terrace complete with a green roof. The museum's collection is just as diverse as its spaces, with works from a wide range of artists like Judy Baca, N.C. Wyeth, Diego Rivera, Norman Rockwell, Kadir Nelson, and many more. Notably, the museum recently acquired the archive related to Judy Baca's iconic mural of the Great Wall of Los Angeles and Robert Colescott's painting George Washington Carver crossing the Delaware River. Sandra Jackson Dumont, the museum's director and CEO, sees these pieces as bridging pop culture and history, expanding the narrative of what belongs in a museum. In 2019, the museum also acquired the Separate Cinema Archive, an extensive collection that documents the history of African American cinema from 1904 to now. This archive includes about 37,000 items like posters, stills, scripts, and other artifacts, showcasing the work of stars like Dorothy Dandridge, Paul Robeson, Duke Ellington, Sidney Poitier, and Josephine Baker. Jackson Dumont highlighted that this collection not only offers rich opportunities for film buffs, but also sparks important conversations about African American stories in film. The Lucas Museum isn't just about housing art, it's about creating a space where art, history, and culture intersect in meaningful ways. With its wide-ranging collection and inviting public spaces, it aims to be a place that not only preserves and displays art, but also encourages learning, discussion, and community connection. We are committed to releasing 2 videos every week. Be sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more visionary builds.